What was the craziest incident at your school? This happened during my junior year of high school, and I still can't believe how insane the whole situation got. So we had this chemistry teacher, Mr. Phillips, who was known for being super strict about lab safety. The guy would make us wear safety goggles just to look at a beaker of water. Everyone thought he was being way too paranoid about everything. Our school had this really old building for the science wing, probably built in the 1960s. The chemistry lab was on the second floor with these huge windows that faced the student parking lot. One Tuesday morning, we were doing this routine experiment with hydrogen peroxide and potassium iodide. Nothing dangerous, just making those elephant toothpaste reactions that foam up. Pretty standard stuff for a chemistry class. But here's where it gets weird. Tyler, this kid who sat in the back row, decides he wants to make a bigger reaction than everyone else. While Mr. Phillips was helping another table, Tyler started adding way more chemicals than the lab instructions called for. I was sitting 2 tables away and could see him pouring in like 3 times the amount of potassium iodide. His lab partner Amy kept telling him to stop, but Tyler thought he was being clever. The reaction started normal, just a small foam tower like everyone else's, but then it kept going and going. The foam started pouring over the sides of their beaker, onto their lab table, then onto the floor. Mr. Phillips rushed over and started yelling at Tyler to stop adding chemicals. But it was too late. The reaction was completely out of control now. The foam was spreading across half the classroom floor and it wasn't stopping. That's when things got really crazy. The foam started eating through the old linoleum floor tiles. Apparently, Tyler had created some kind of super acidic mixture that was literally dissolving the floor of our classroom. The smell was getting really bad too, like burning plastic mixed with rotten eggs. Mr. Phillips ordered everyone to evacuate immediately and pulled the fire alarm. Within minutes, the entire school was outside on the football field while the fire department showed up. We could see smoke starting to pour out of the chemistry lab windows. But wait, it gets worse. The foam reaction had now eaten through the floor tiles completely and was dripping down into the classroom below, which happened to be Mrs. Garcia's AP English class. So now we've got this acidic foam dripping through the ceiling onto desks full of students who have no idea what's happened. Mrs. Garcia thought the ceiling was leaking until the foam started burning holes in students' papers. The fire department had to evacuate that classroom too, and now we've got 2 floors of the science building that are basically unusable. Tyler is standing out on the football field looking absolutely terrified because he's realizing he might have just destroyed part of the school. Amy, his lab partner, was crying because she thought she was going to get in trouble too. The hazmat team showed up about an hour later with full protective suits. Turns out Tyler had accidentally created some kind of chemical reaction that was producing chlorine gas, which is why everyone was coughing and the building had to be evacuated. They had to seal off the entire science wing for 3 days while they neutralized whatever Tyler had created and replaced all the damaged flooring and ceiling tiles. The local news even showed up because apparently it's pretty rare for a high school chemistry experiment to require a hazmat response. Tyler's parents got called in, the school district got involved, it was a whole thing. Here's the craziest part though. When they finally let us back into the building, there was this perfectly circular hole burned through the floor of the chemistry lab. You could literally look down into the English classroom below. The school had to install a temporary patch over the hole and completely renovate both classrooms. They estimated the damage at around $40,000. Tyler got suspended for 2 weeks and had to pay for part of the repairs. He also got banned from taking any more chemistry classes for the rest of high school. His parents were absolutely furious. But the weirdest thing was what happened to Mr. Phillips. Instead of getting in trouble for letting a student cause this much damage, he actually got praised by the school district for his quick thinking during the evacuation. Apparently, his safety protocols and immediate response prevented what could have been a much more serious situation. The district used the incident as an example of why lab safety rules exist in the first place. Tyler became a legend at our school, but not in a good way. Everyone called him Chemistry Tyler for the rest of high school. He actually ended up switching schools the next year because he couldn't handle the attention. The hole in the floor stayed there for almost 6 months while they waited for contractors to fix it properly. Every time students walked past that classroom, they'd point up at the ceiling and remember the day Tyler almost burned down the science wing. Mr. Phillips retired the next year saying he'd had enough excitement for one teaching career. The new chemistry teacher made us watch a 20-minute safety video before we were even allowed to touch a test tube. And Tyler? Last I heard he was studying business in college, definitely staying away from chemistry.